Thyroid hormones are chemical messengers that are produced from a gland in the neck, and they act on virtually every tissue in the body, and they're responsible for many of the processes that give rise and maintain life and health. So they're important for brain development in childhood, for growth, and also for converting the fuel that we ingest, the food that we eat, into heat and energy. Those are some of the important things that thyroid hormone does. Resistance to thyroid hormone was discovered by finding, rarely in individuals, high levels of thyroid hormone, and then that the thyroid hormone working on a particular part of the brain called the pituitary, it wasn't feeding back to work on the pituitary gland in the way that it normally does, to switch off a hormone called TSH from the pituitary gland. So that's essentially the signature, or the way in which thyroid hormone resistance is found in the blood. After the completion of the Genome Project and understanding the genes that control thyroid hormone action, there is now a genetic test for this. So we test for a mistake in one of the thyroid hormone receptors, thyroid hormone receptor beta, and if that gene contains a mistake, it gives rise to this particular pattern of blood tests that I talked about, and that makes the diagnosis. Typically, an individual may have a blood test, either at their GP or in the hospital. The blood test may be done for no symptoms at all, or because they've consulted a specialist because they've been not feeling well in various ways. And the key thing is that this blood test would show an abnormal pattern of thyroid hormones, and a very distinctive abnormal pattern of thyroid hormones, which is not the usual pattern associated with thyroid overactivity or hyperthyroidism. The abnormal pattern of blood tests in thyroid hormone resistance, whilst it's distinctive, there are many other entities or conditions which are not thyroid hormone resistance, which could potentially give rise to this blood picture. So before one goes on to make a definitive diagnosis, it's important to rule some of those other factors out. Things, for example, like the medication that they might be on, or interference with the way in which the machines are reading the hormone levels in the blood. That also needs to be ruled out. And after that, the definitive confirmation is by doing a genetic test which identifies a mistake in the thyroid hormone beta receptor gene. RTH beta, as we've noted, in many instances can be associated with no symptoms, and people's health and daily activities of life are not affected. But in a proportion of people, we do recognize that there are complications that can manifest as they get older. Can be things like abnormalities in blood cholesterol, a reduction in bone density, which may predispose to easy fracture of bones in later life. And so one of the strands of research that we're doing is simply to collect health record information about all the RTH patients that we know about, because we think that by looking for patterns in their health records, we can better identify what complications RTH patients are likely to be susceptible to in later life. So that's one strand of research. And then another important strand of research is really to investigate how best to deal with these future complications or to prevent them. For example, what's the best approach to controlling raised blood cholesterol? How best would we prevent an RTH patient losing bone density in later life, or in some patients who develop cardiac problems, a fast heart rate or altered function of the heart, what sort of treatment would best prevent that from progressing? I've been associated with the British Thyroid Foundation for many years, and I think it's been a great privilege actually to be associated with this organization. I'm particularly pleased that in recent years, in addition to informing people about the common forms of thyroid disease, they've chosen to highlight thyroid hormone resistance, which is my particular specific clinical and research interest. Although it's a rare condition affecting 1 to 2 in 40,000 people, I think it's worth pointing out for those individuals, it is of course an important condition which can affect their health, and they would undoubtedly be worried about the implications and what effects it may have on their future health. So I think the British Thyroid Foundation is fulfilling a very valuable role in drawing attention to it and providing a mechanism to find a way to gain more information about it.